So my A-level results were not good enough to get me into chemical engineering in NUS, so I went for a diploma course instead.
The government encourages mid-career switches, and I wanted to get into the IT sector, but I couldn't land a job without any IT experience.
I chose to enroll in this part-time Bachelor of Technology program while working so I could gain work knowledge and plan my schedule better, and have an income for financial stability. I was also able to directly apply what I learned to my job before I even graduated.
I already completed various IT certification and training courses, including a diploma, but I didn't want to stop there. I'm married and I have a daughter to take care of, so by enrolling in a part-time degree in cybersecurity, I can still juggle between work, studies, and family.
After getting my degree, I truly felt its impact, which gave me exposure to great offers and opportunities. This helped me achieve my goal to upgrade my career. I'm very excited about starting a new job in a new sector.
I am already a late bloomer, so I am determined to do well in the IT sector and catch up with the time lost. NUS is one of the most reputable universities, so I decided to go with it. I'm hopeful about my future and recently landed a new job. From here, the sky is the limit.
Right. A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Benjamin, and it is my honor to be your host for tonight's webinar, where you will learn more about the NUS Bachelor of Technology in Engineering part-time programs. First thing first, on behalf of the entire NUS team, I'd like to thank you for taking time out of your schedules to join us virtually tonight. I certainly hope that everyone is keeping your hygiene and social distancing levels high as we progressively move towards 13th of June, and with that, more normalcy in our lives. Remember to stay safe, to stay positive, and we will get through this together. Now, before we begin tonight's session, I would like to introduce our distinguished guests joining us. From the Faculty of Engineering, we have the honor of being joined by Associate Professor Chen Xingbo and Associate Professor Jiang Jianwen, course coordinators for BTech Chemical Engineering. Adjunct Associate Professor Tan Ling Xiao and Dr. Sahu, course coordinators for BTech Electronics Engineering. Associate Professor Senthil Kumar, course coordinator for BTech Mechanical Engineering. And last but not least, Associate Professor Po Kim Ling and Associate Professor Ng Kian Ming, course coordinators for BTech Industrial and Management Engineering, as well as BTech Supply Chain Management. And not forgetting, from the student admission side of things, we have Ms. Adeline Chi and Ms. Ivy Siap from the NUS School of Continuing and Lifelong Education scale. Professors and esteemed panelists, thank you for taking the time tonight to inspire a new batch of BTech prospective students. Our night will kick off shortly with presentations from the professors who will be giving you some important insights into each of the BTech engineering discipline that we have on offer for the upcoming January 2022 intake. So during the course of the presentation, if you have any questions, please share them with us in the chat section below, and we will then answer them in a comprehensive Q&A segment later at 8 p.m. So with that said, and without further ado, please allow me to hand the time over to our professors. First up, we have Associate Professor Jiang Jianwen, who will tell you more about the BTech Chemical Engineering program. Professor, please.
Hello, I'm Jianwen Jiang, and with Professor Chen Xingbo, we are the course coordinator for Chemical Engineering program. So you may want to ask, what is chemical engineering and what is the difference from chemistry? I guess many of you may have the chemistry background, so you have the doubt, what is the difference of chemical engineering from chemistry? So we can say that chemical engineering is the practical application of chemistry. It emphasizes on application of chemical reactions, chemical separations, and the process optimization. As a result, chemical products can be produced safely and economically with minimum environmental impact. Because of this, we actually educate our students to understand the basic principles of chemical reactions, chemical separations, and the process optimization. Therefore, they can operate these different important processes in a chemical plant. In addition, students will also learn some basic background, some advanced skills, which would allow them to design, develop new chemical products, and which may benefit the society in many different ways. And in our program, we have many modules. For example, thermodynamics, fluid mechanics, design project, which require students to work as a group or as a team on a certain interesting topic. For example, sustainability, global warming, waste to energy conversion. So by working as a group, as a team, will help students to develop teamwork ability and also can adapt to the rapidly changed working environment. In terms of the job perspective, there are many positions actually our students can take. For example, can work as an engineer, process engineer, or design engineer in chemical plants, in pharmaceutical, in petrochemical industries, and can actually work as a research engineer in many A-star institutes. And furthermore, can also work as a consultant for many companies, chemical companies, pharmaceutical companies, electronic companies. All these are the possible positions can be taken. So I guess with this very brief introduction, I hope that you would have a better idea of chemical engineering, or it's not a chemistry. It's emphasis on application of the chemistry, and hope that you would like to consider to join our program. With this, I thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Jiang. Next, let's have Associate Professor Tan Ling Xiao to tell us more about the BTech Electronics Engineering Program.
Hi, good evening. I'm Tan Ling Xiao. Now, the BTech Electronics Engineering Program is actually the first program in the BTech engineering that was started way back in 1995. The program was started at that time as the electronics engineering is developing very rapidly in Singapore, and we started this program to support students who are working in the electronics industry and who want to upgrade their skills and become engineers. This is still the same today. The program has been running for some 26 years with the Faculty of Engineering and subsequently administered by scale, but still taught by professors in electronics engineering in the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering. Now, this program is fully accredited by the Engineering Accreditation Board of the Institution of Engineers Singapore. Now, more recently, Electrical Energy Systems module has been added to the curriculum. Formerly, it was more concentrated on electronics, but today we also include energy systems and so on. So that will provide the necessary for students to be interested in joining the power and energy industry. And the Professional Engineers Board has agreed that graduates who have taken the Electrical Energy Systems module are eligible to sit for the PEB examination with the eventual aim of registration as a professional engineer with effect from the 2019-2020 intake. So if you come and join now, you will be doing this Electrical Energy Systems module, and when you graduate, you are eligible to apply to sit for the exams for the PEB should you want to do so. Now, other than that, we have many modules that are also for people who want to work in the telecommunications, in networking, in automation, and also, of course, as electronics engineer. you all know that currently there is a worldwide chip shortage, and that the chip industry is doing very well in spite of the pandemic. In fact, I read somewhere that about 10% of the world's chips are actually made in Singapore. So there is still a lot of future in this area, in wafer fabrication, chip making. We also have artificial intelligence, which is also part of under automatic control and so on. And then of course, nowadays, internet communications, computer networks are everywhere. So in fact, there are a lot of job opportunities for graduates in this area. And you are most welcome to apply for taking up this BTech Electronics Engineering program in NUS. Okay, so this is a brief description of the Electronics Engineering program. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Tan. Thank you very much for sharing your insights about the BTech Electronics Engineering program. So next, let's have our Associate Professor Senthil Kumar to tell us more about the BTech Mechanical Engineering program. Professor Senthil Kumar, please.
Hi, I am Senthil Kumar. I come from the Mechanical Engineering department. In general, Mechanical Engineering is a very versatile program, very highly sought after in the industry. The graduates are generally. The primary reason is because the emphasis in mechanical engineering is very wide. We actually cover the fundamentals of mechanical engineering. Students are exposed to design and also analysis, how to make the analysis of the designs that they make. And also we cover on how you manufacture them as well. So we actually cover a wide range starting from the design to analysis to manufacturing. And we train all our students to get exposed to this by taking fundamental courses in the beginning, in the early years. And in the third year, the students actually enter into the design project where the students actually form a group and they come up with a robot, and then they have kind of a competition and try to do the whatever they have learned in the early years and try to use that to actually build something which is really functional and movable. Okay, so the students are also into a group project, and actually after that they move on into the final year where the students also exposed to the final year project, which is an individual project. So what these students do is some of them actually take up the research intensive work, or some students actually take problems from the industry and try to solve it as a final year project as well. So you have very wide range of opportunities that exist. And you have to, if you want to specialize or focus more into some of the areas like fluid mechanics, which are very highly used in the aerospace industry. People also get interested in energy. They can also be very relevant in mechanical engineering. Students also do on robotics. There is a special group which is interested in controls and robotics. Students also get exposed to that. We have advanced manufacturing where we have a lot of facilities on machining and other activities. And also we work on micro fabrication as well, which is in terms of making very, very small parts or small features. And basically mechanical engineering program in NUS is, especially at the scale, is there since 1995. And we have also been there for about 26 years. We are the second program to be immediately after the electronics. And our program is also accredited by the EAB as well as the IES. So after you graduate, you can go and register as a PE in the EAB as well. Okay, in the IES. And most of our students, as I said, very versatile. So they are very sought after in aerospace industries, oil and gas industry, automotive, biomedical engineering, and they also become product designers. They work on energy sectors as well. So it's a very wide area. So we look forward to welcoming you all into the mechanical engineering program. If you have any questions, we would be very happy to answer as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you. Now, last but certainly not least, let's have our Associate Professor Po Kim Ling to tell us more about both the BTech Industrial and Management Engineering program, as well as the BTech Supply Chain Management program. Prof. Po, please.
Good evening, everyone. I'm from the Department of Industrial System Engineering and Management. Now, before I begin, I try to understand what is industrial and management engineering. Now, you have heard from the earlier coordinators where they introduced civil engineering, chemical engineering, electronic engineering, and mechanical, etc. Now, the names itself, when you hear them, right? You're very familiar with because they are all concerned with making things that actually you can touch. However, in industrial and management engineering, we are not dealing with the hard things per se. Instead, we are looking at something that is softer, and we are also looking at how things can work together, and not just work together, but also work better. So industrial and management engineering is actually a profession that is concerned with the management and optimization of complex processes, systems, or even organizations by developing, improving, and implementing integrated system of people, money, knowledge, information, data, equipment, etc., etc. So in the nutshell, we are just looking at how to improve systems and make things work better. So when I say a system, what could it be? It could be a manufacturing systems. It could be an airport. It could be a healthcare system, including the hospitals, and so on and so forth. Or it could be the ports, the seaports, etc. So here we are talking about system that is very large, and also system that are very small. So that's the unique things about industrial and management engineering. Okay, so as you can see in this program, right, what we will cover will be that first we will teach you all the necessary knowledge and the skill that is used to support the management and operation and optimization of systems. And these systems are, can be big or small, and they produce goods and services, right? We also teach you the ability to apply management tools and analytical techniques to create cost-effective and efficient solutions, right? So what's unique about this program is that we accept applicants from all disciplines of engineering, right? And we also admit people from the Infocom, or even if your diploma is from the business school, right? If you can show that you have good proficiency in mathematics, you are eligible to apply, right? So if you want to change from what you have studied at your diploma to another profession, right? This is one way to make a switch, especially if you have been working in the hardware side for a long time and you want to switch to a more management-oriented career, then picking up a degree in industrial and management engineering would be a good opportunity for you. So for IME, what are the job prospects, right? You can operate as you can work as an operation analyst, data analyst or scientist, quality engineer, project engineer or manager, etc., etc. And as you can see, almost all the industrial sector and also the service sector require some sort of industrial and management engineering in one way or another. So your job prospect is very wide. It actually covers almost all the sector of the Singapore economy. Now let's go on to the supply chain. Now you can think of supply chain management as a very specialized form of industrial and management engineering, right? So the system we are talking about, right, is actually the supply chain and the logistics system, right? So in this program, you will specialize by first, we will teach you the necessary fundamental knowledge that have somewhat similarity with the industrial management engineering. Because the two programs will share a lot of the fundamentals, skills, and so on. However, in the data year, you will specialize into the supply chain and logistics. So you will learn things about warehousing, global sourcing, transportation management, etc. Things that are unique to supply chain and logistic systems, right? You also learn how to appreciate the interaction between the modern logistic and the supply chain with the engineering, business, and technology. So in some sense, it's very multidisciplinary, right? And we also learn how to apply and management tools and analytical techniques to create cost-effective and efficient supply chain. right? So the job prospect for supply chain management and engineers are as follow, right? You can have a career in logistics, right? Like looking after warehousing solutions, procurement, global sourcing, transportation, as well as supply chain management, industry, and so on. And the job prospect is not just unique to, let's say, the third-party logistic company, because almost all multinational and large international company, right, have some form of a logistic function within the company, even if they have outsourced their logistic function to specialized third-party logistic provider, right? So again, the career, right, for supply chain management and engineers, right, are very wide and very versatile, right? So if you have any question, I'll be glad to take on during the Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Po, as well as all other professors for a very enriching presentation and session. I hope the audience learned a lot more now about the programs as well as the possible career opportunities spanning from it. If you have any heart-burning questions while sitting through the presentation earlier, fret not, because we will now move into the Q&A segment where we shall take on your questions. So while we transition, I would like to remind the audience once again to leave all your questions in the chat section below and we shall address them. So first question of the day, here it goes. What and how does the module exemptions work for polytechnic students, which I believe will be the main bulk of prospective students here today? So perhaps I can have the admissions department shed some light on this issue.
For the module exemptions, all our holders of relevant diploma admitted to our BTech engineering programs will generally be granted 40 MCs of advanced placement credits automatically. So there isn't any need to go and specially request for any exemptions. Yeah.
Just for those who may not be familiar, for degree programs, the university require a student to accumulate 160 modular credits or MCs. What it will say is that you get 40 of these modular credits exempted for being a holder of a polytechnic diploma.
Thank you, Ivis, and thank you, Prof. Tan. I'm sure that helps a lot for all the prospective students who hold a polytechnic diploma here today. So on to the next question. Does the BTech degree program qualify and is it recognized by the PEB so as to allow graduates to pursue as a professional engineer? So perhaps we can have one of the faculty members enlighten the audience on this.
Okay, I believe that almost all the programs here, if not all, are first of all accredited by the Engineering Accreditation Board of the institution of engineers. Secondly, they are also eligible to apply to take the examinations of the Professional Engineers Board. And the PEB has a certain requirements. First of all is to have a recognized degree, which you would have when you graduate with a BTech degree. You will have to work for some time and gain experience under the supervision of professional engineers. Then you take the examinations prescribed by the PEB, and if you fulfill all the conditions that they set down, then you could then apply to be registered as a PE. So yes, I can speak only for electronics engineering, but as I mentioned just now, you could go and register and sit for the exams with a view to qualify as a professional engineer in the electrical engineering discipline, meaning the heavy current, heavy voltage side of things. You can, of course, all along apply and be registered also to practice in the electronics engineering discipline. I believe that is applicable to the other branches of engineering in our BTech programs as well.
Can I clarify that the PE board does not have any registration for industrial engineering? Yeah, just to clarify, it's not all BTech.
I see. Thank you.
Yeah, but PE Act does not define anything about industrial engineering. It's not part of the built environment professional registration. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, mechanical engineering program can be, you can register in PE board. Of course, you have to follow through the procedures in terms of working for a certain number of years and have the design experience, and then you have to take the written exams and so on with the interview, okay? But our program is recognized.
Thank you, professors. How about Prof Jiang? Would you like to share, about BTech Chemical Engineering and whether is it possible for graduates as well?
Oh yeah. We actually just passed the accreditation by the EAB 2 months back. So certainly can also pursue the PE.
Great, good to know. And thank you all professors once again for elaborating on the process. So next question, very admission related question, I believe. Does working experience contribute to the eligibility of being admitted for the BTech programs? Yeah. So Ivy, would you like to share some insights on this?
Yes, work experience is actually one of the contributing factors other than the academic qualification that we look into when we examine the applications.
Thank you, Ivy. So I believe that's a very important point to note because being a part-time program, everyone here is of course working full-time. So be assured that all your relevant work experience will be duly considered in the review of your application submitted. Yeah. So next question, perhaps. All right. How does a Bachelor of Technology BTech differ from the Bachelor of Engineering BEng? So if I graduate from the BTech, will I be able to do a master's or PhD in the future?
Yeah, maybe I can try to answer this.
Sure.
Yeah. I think the simple answer is there is not much difference between Bachelor of Technology and Bachelor of Engineering. Only difference is one is part-time, one is full-time. So the same facilities, NUS facilities are, provided to both full-time as well as part-time students. The same professors teach, so same academic rigor is applied. So the two degrees are actually same, right? And the second part of the question, whether students are able to go for masters and PhD, yes. Only last year, I was happy to recommend one of our students for PhD program in one of the Australian universities, one of the top universities in Australia. And many of our BTech graduates actually joined the master's program in NUS itself. So we have very large number of cases who end up doing masters and PhD. So in that sense, there is no difference between BTech and BEng.
That's great. Thank you, Dr. Sahu. So for all prospective students, do note, basically there's no difference. The only difference is, of course, the BTech programs offer you the flexibility of a part-time schedule because most of you are full-time working professionals, of course. So next question. I will complete my diploma on August 2021, which is, I believe, the month where the program is commencing. So can I apply for the course?
I'll answer to this. Yes, you can still apply for the January 2022 intake. However, you need to submit a copy of unofficial transcript and student status letter from the polytechnic or from the school, which is countersigned by the officer and printed on the letterhead. Then submit the full transcript and certification or completion letter to us by before December 2021.
Thank you, Ivis. So yeah, just take note, as long as you will complete your studies before the program official start date, which for now will be before January 2022, then you can still submit your official application within the current application window. All right, considering this is a part-time degree, if a person working have conflict between his work schedules and the lessons, will there be a makeup class or how do we go about this? Perhaps Prof. Jiang, would you like to share on any of your experience, teaching such students who have, schedule conflicts with their...
Certainly the time management is important. And you also need to maybe discuss with your company, your boss, sometimes maybe allow you to take the modules. And sometimes if you truly cannot make up to come to the class, you can also try to approach the lecturers who may, depends on the case by case. Some lecturers may give makeup or give more, at least they give you some maybe materials to work on. So certainly that's something need to be considered when you choose the particular module. Discuss with your company, your boss, and also discuss with the lecturers.
Thank you, Prof. Jiang. Yep, thank you. So yeah, obviously we understand that all of you are full-time working professionals and this is a part-time degree, so definitely there will be some schedule conflicts here and there, but we'll try our best to help you catch up with the lessons. Yep. All right, this is a very relevant question, especially given the current situation. So yeah, Will there be any online lessons involved, given the current situation? And also, will online learning still be implemented post-pandemic? Perhaps we can have Professor Po. Would you like to share, any of your thoughts or any of the current processes that are implemented?
Under the current situation, okay, we expect that in the past as well as in the coming semester, right, some of those COVID-19 precautions will still be in place in the near future. So under this situation, all large classes will go online. And how it will go online is actually on a case-by-case basis, depending on the nature of the subject being taught, right? So some online, it could mean that actually the professor will conduct the class, let's say over Zoom instead of in the classroom. It could also take in the form of e-learning, where the professor may pre-record some of the material and mount it on the system, and they can view at their own time. And at the same time, he may also have a live face-to-face meeting. It could be online. And for small class, where subject to the regulation, say, small size class, face-to-face meeting may still be allowed, subject to all the precautionary that need to be taken, like safe distancing, wearing of face masks, face shield, and so on. So it varies, right? So whatever we do, we can be assured that it will be COVID safe, with all the necessary precaution taken into account, right? So because your health and safety is one of our top priority. I hope that helps.
Definitely. Prof. Po, if you don't mind, maybe I can expand on this question for the benefit of our audience. So when you mentioned, large and small classes, is there any general guidelines given between what is large and what is small? Is it like above 50 students, below 50 students, or any magical number?
I think the number lately has been 50 based on the latest rule. But if things get worse, that number may shrunk to a smaller number. So it's very dynamic.
Yes.
Right. So as it is now, under the current situation, phase 2, and also when we were in phase 3, the number was 50. If we revert back to enhanced measure, it may go back to 25, or under circuit breaker is 0.
We are not sure about the post-COVID as of now. I think probably we don't know. Maybe it may become hybrid classes in the future. Probably you will have some online and some face-to-face. And I think it's a very dynamic situation at this moment. Yeah.
Thank you, Prof. Po. Thank you, Prof. Kumar as well. So yeah, I hope that addresses the question. So yeah, let's have the next question now, which we have got here. So with the world shifting towards cleaner and carbon-free alternatives, what will be the future of chemical engineering, considering that the oil and gas industry is one of the main industries? So I think for this question, probably Prof. Jiang, you'll be the best person to advise the inquirer.
Certainly, currently, the oil and the gas still the main, the chemical and the petrochemical still the main part. And in the future, like the AI assisted will come in. But the program we have here is to teach the softer skills. So even in the future, we have a cleaner, carbon-free, all the fields, the knowledge, the skill you learned from a program still can be used. It's not it will not become out of date because you learn the softer skills. So I would say that actually in our program, we also try to consider the machine learning, some data analysis, statistics, all this will come in, try to keep up with the current trend.
Yes, and now our curriculum is shifting to emphasize more on this sustainability. We do have electives. We do have, for example, design project, and we have tried to increase the emphasis on sustainability in our design project. So that is relevant trend and topics we are trying to cover.
All right, thank you, Prof. Jiang, and of course, thank you, Prof. Chen as well for sharing your many years of experience and expertise on these topics. So perhaps we have the next question for now. Okay, so which course is perhaps most suitable if I am interested in mechatronics or robotics?
The students who are interested in robotics and mechatronics can take either mechanical or electrical engineering. Both programs are very relevant. One talks about the control, other one will talk about dynamics. So it's actually complementing each other. So it's all depends on the student's interest. And of course, there are elective modules which are available where the students can actually go and take from other department as well if they want to learn more about what's going on in robotics in the other area. To address to this issue on robotics specifically, we do have elective modules specifically focused on robotics in the mechanical engineering. Students who are interested can take those modules to specialize as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Kumar. Thank you. So to this particular student, electronics engineering or mechanical engineering will perhaps be the best course for you. And be sure to apply during the current application window. Okay, so yeah, very important question as well. So how are applicants of the BTech programs evaluated?
So all the applications will be evaluated based on the academic performance, depending on those that they've submitted, like their diploma, some of them have degree or some of them have O-level, etc. So depending on the academic performance that they have submitted to us for review, and also the work experience that they have shared with us in their applications, if needed, the applicants might be required to sit through some bridging courses or to take entrance exam for further assessing.
Thank you, Ivis. Thank you for running us through the admission requirements. Yep. So to this particular inquirer, if you would like any, clarification on any of these conditions, do feel free to drop your questions in the chat section below. So for now, let's have the next question. Okay, I would like to know which course is most suited for people working in the audio industry, more so for an audio technician.
I would think that electronics engineering will be well related, because we have courses that deal with, for example, amplifiers, digital electronics, and anyway, these days also a lot of staff are also in digital. So then we have other courses that can be related to it, such as communications and so on. So I would think that we do not have one that is so specialized as audio engineering, but it is related to it as electronics.
Sure, thank you, Prof. Tan. So yeah, to this particular student, electronics engineering is of course the course that is best recommended for your situation. All right, is there a GPA criteria or an IGP I need to achieve or be aware of? If I am on a full-time work and it is a shift job, how would I be able to attend the classes, or is it self-study? So I believe the second part of the question was briefly answered just now by the professors. So maybe let's have Ivis to enlighten us on the GPA criteria component.
Okay, for BTech, we not only, like what I've mentioned earlier, we not only look at the work experience and also your academic performance. So there are various factors. Therefore, we do not have a GPA criteria, like a minimum GPA criteria for our BTech programs. So we will review on all aspects that you have submitted to us in your applications.
Thank you, Ivis. So yeah, very important point to note, no minimum GPA requirement. So whatever that you submit, it will be reviewed on a holistic basis. So next question, please. I am a permanent resident and international student presently serving NS. Can I apply? I believe so, but Ivis, would you like to elaborate further on this point?
Yes. Okay, so those that are currently serving NS, you can still apply if you have your ORD before the semester starts. That means before January 2022. So we will actually need a letter, an official letter from NS that indicate your estimated ORD date.
All right, great. So to this particular student, as long as you are going to ORD, before January 2022, then of course you can still apply in the current application window. Okay, here it goes. I am a part-time diploma graduate and was informed to attend the BEBU program. Hence, do I apply under the BEBU program or BTech directly for the January intake?
I think I can answer to that.
Sure.
So you will actually need to apply for BTech program first to let us know which program you're interested in, and also submit to us all your documents like the qualifications, work experience, etc. Then from there, you will receive an outcome maybe by early August to know whether are you required to sit through the BEBU program after we have done the first review.
Great, thank you, Ivy. So yeah, please just submit, your application as per normal during the current application window. Yep. So next question now. All right. So on EEE, I think electronics engineering, what is the proportion of labs, hands-on building and experimenting sessions?
Okay, maybe I answer this.
Sure.
So there are different stages of the modules, and there are some modules which are more design heavy, some core modules, and later on we have also some modules are fully project based modules. So if you just ask what proportion, I think I can give you a figure about 30% of the overall program is about hands-on.
Thank you, Dr. Sahu, for sharing the curriculum. Okay, another relevant, question considering the current situation. So I would like to understand what is the proportion of online learning, and I believe this applies generally, across the BTech programs.
Yeah, actually, we have interactive Zoom sessions currently due to COVID situation. So when there was no COVID situation, we have, of course, face-to-face sessions in the class, which do get recorded, and they're also uploaded to our learning management system so that students can do revision later on. So of course, as of now, most of the, except for very small classes, which is very rare for BTech, I think we have mostly this Zoom-based interactive sessions. What is the proportion, right? Proportion-wise, I think currently it is, of course, almost 100%. But when the situations are normal, I think it will be mostly face-to-face.
Thank you, Dr. Sahu. Any of the other faculties would like to share,
Yeah, basically, if it is a large class, with meaning that if the class size is more than 50, at this moment, because of COVID, everything is online. Okay, and if it is smaller, that means below 50, we have an option of having face-to-face. So this is the current scenario, but things might change as we progress. Yeah.
Certainly. It's a very fluid situation. So, but rest assured that we will take the necessary precautions to ensure the safety of all students. Yeah. All right. I would like to ask whether people that possess a diploma in perfumery and cosmetic sciences that has graduated from Singapore Poly, will they be eligible for the chemical engineering program? So yeah, perhaps Prof. Jiang, you can offer some direct advice to this inquirer here.
Certainly, I think it's possible to apply. You can apply, then if necessary, can try to take the bridging modules or even the entry exam. So I would say, yeah, can try.
Great. I think that's a good enough response. So I hope that answers the question for this student. And of course, please submit your application within the current application window. Okay, can A-level holders apply for the BTech program?
I think I can answer to that. Sure. Yeah, so for currently, our minimum academic requirement is polytechnic diploma or something equivalent. So I think A-level holders might not be equivalent at the moment.
Sure, thank you, Ivis. I hope that answers the question. So the minimum entry requirement is to possess a polytechnic diploma or this equivalent. Yep. So next question. Okay, there is a common perception that BTech graduates are considered second class when compared to those with B-Eng, and employers will perhaps give preference to B-Eng graduates. So how true is this? So maybe let's have Professor Tan to share your opinions or any thoughts.
Actually, it all depends. I mean, this is anecdotal. I don't know how you get the common perception. But in many cases also, BTech graduates are also already working in the industry. And when they upgrade their skills and knowledge after they got a BTech degree, very often the employer may find that they know the students and they actually like it. Well, again, this is anecdotal in that I personally have heard from a few industry sources. I can't say that it is necessarily true in all cases, but I don't think eventually it is your work performance that matter. And the fact that you already have been working out there will give your employer some idea of your work performance. So if you're already working and you have work experience, actually in some way it helps you.
Thank you, Prof. Tan.
In fact, what I have experienced is most of the students, as soon as they graduate, they get promotion. This is a very common thing that we have seen among the BTech students. Okay, there are situations where as soon as they get admission itself, some of them get promoted. Okay, so this is just my experience with some of the students that I have encountered. Thank you.
Sure, thank you, Prof. Kumar. I think that's a very interesting statistic to share. So yeah, perhaps to summarize this, basically there's no difference. Like mentioned just now, the only difference is the flexibility of a part-time schedule for the BTech programs. Yeah, curriculum and recognition wise, basically there's no difference at all. Yeah, can a diploma in mechanical technology holder opt for the BTech in chemical engineering program?
Yes, similar to previous one of the questions, can still try, and then we will try to say if you need to take the bridging modules or the entry exams. So certainly I would say it's possible, but we can try to furthermore to say if you need the bridging modules or the entry exam.
Maybe I can add a few points. I think one main issue is that our students have to have some chemistry background in the entrance exam. I think we give them math and the chemistry. So if you think that you have some background in chemistry, then definitely you can try.
Thank you to both course coordinators for the BTech chemical engineering program. So I believe they are the best, person to advise on this issue. So to this particular student, of course, the short answer is yes. You can still try. Please submit your application during the current application window to stand a chance of an official assessment of your chances. So yeah, the time now is 8:25. So perhaps let's have the last question for the day. Okay, last question. A very interesting one here, I must say. So what is the difference of the NUS BTech program versus the NTU part-time Bachelors of Engineering program? And why is it called BTech and not a standard Bachelor of Engineering in terms of the naming convention?
Okay, I cannot speak for NTU. I don't think I know much about it, and it's not fair for me to comment on something that I'm not familiar with. Okay, as to why we call it BTech is that it's not a standard Bachelor of Engineering program because the curriculum, while similar, are not exactly the same. Okay, maybe about 70% or so. The BTech program is designed to cater to somebody who is already working and in engineering. Okay, whereas the BEng students, they are still just coming out of school. They haven't entered into any engineering profession, and the current kind of the program is that it also is much more broad-based and therefore a little less technically specialized than the BTech program. The BEng student, for example, have to do a lot of other things outside of engineering, whereas the BTech students, although we also have modules on general education to broaden your outlook and so on, but it is less so. And so the two programs are very similar. They are not identical. And I presume, I don't know, at the time when the program was started and it was called BTech, I presume, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's because they are not exactly a carbon copy of each other, so they are not called the same name. I'm sorry I can't answer for the NTU part.
Certainly. Thank you, Prof. Tan. I believe that's a very comprehensive answer, especially with regards to the curriculum. So I hope that addresses the question of this particular inquirer. Otherwise, please send in your questions to a particular email, which I'm going to share in my next slide. Yeah. So I guess with that last question, all good things come to an end. So we have come to the end of tonight's proceedings. Yeah, so very importantly, on behalf of the BTech faculty as well as the NUS team, we sincerely hope that you have got all that you need to make an informed decision, especially in the current application window. If you have further questions for us, not to worry as well, you can still get in touch by dropping us a note at btech.enquiry@nus.edu.sg, the email that you see on your screens right now. And of course, our colleagues will come back to you as soon as we can. Remember that applications are now open and will close by the 30th of June 2021 by 12 noon. Yeah. So from the NUS family, thank you very much once again for joining us tonight and for being such a wonderful audience. Remember to stay indoors, wash your hands, and of course, never stop learning. Good night, everyone.